In this video, you will learn how to prepare and export GL information from eoStar. If you have not yet set up the ledger accounts in eoStar, you will need to do that before you can export. For more information on setting up ledger accounts, please watch the video series on GL setup. eoStar uses a batch system to group financial transactions for export. There are 3 stages to the batch. These are open, closed, and finalized. The open batch contains all of the new unbatched transactions. The closed batch is the batch that we'll be working in, and the finalized batch is a completed batch that's ready for export. Only the finalized batch can be exported to the general ledger software. There are only a few steps that must be completed each time you export the ledger information. We must close the open batch, include the transactions that we'd like to export, finalize the batch, and then finally export the ledger information. All of these steps are performed in the GL Batches screen that can be found under the GL drop-down, and then choosing Batches. If you already have a closed batch, you can select the closed batch and start working. If not, select the current open batch, and in the main area, you will see a button that will allow you to close the batch. Upon closing, all of the completed transactions that are ready for export will be included in the closed batch. If you would like to select the specific transactions to export, you can check the box below that reads, "Upon closing this batch, move all transactions into the open batch," which is exactly what it does. This way, if you want to export general ledger information in smaller batches, you can do that. Some users prefer to export their payments in separate batches from their inventory transactions, or keep orders separate from purchases, and with this option, you can just include the transactions you select. So let's close this batch without any of the transactions included. And now let's select our closed batch. To include or exclude transactions, first click the tab for the transactions you want to work with. So if we want to include orders, click on the Orders tab, and you will see all of the transactions that can be included. Items with a check in the In column will be included, and those that are not checked will be left in the open batch. Check the transactions you want to include. You can use the controls at the top of the grid to sort and filter. And you can select multiple transactions to include by highlighting them, and then click the Include Selected Orders hyperlink to check the boxes. Do this in each of the panels that you have transactions you want to include in this batch. If you use bank deposits, you'll want to include and exclude transactions from the Bank Deposits tab, and not the Payment tab or the Reconciliations tab. When you include a bank deposit, it will automatically check all of the payment and reconciliation transactions that were part of that deposit. Once you've included all of your desired transactions, you can review what will be exported by looking at the GL Results panel. At this point, you can go back and include or exclude more transactions if you would like. When you are happy with the batch and want to export, you must first finalize the closed batch using the button on the main part of the screen. You will get a confirmation pop-up that lets you know that once you finalize, you can no longer make changes to the batch. Once finalized, you can go to the GL Export panel to export the file. If you haven't already set a folder for the exported files, it will ask you for one when you go to export. If you want to verify your export settings, click the View Settings hyperlink. To export, click the button that says Post and Export New Transactions. The export file will then be created in the export folder and can be imported into your ledger software. If you are using a Direct Connect system, the export button is still used, and instead will directly export the information to your GL software. If you have any questions or need assistance, please feel free to contact support.